efforts. But more needs to be done. The Prime Minister has said, if there is any doubt about loss and damage, go to Pakistan. There is loss and there is damage. And this COP needs to recognize it and needs to define a roadmap, a clear roadmap to deal with it, and including the creation of an institutional framework, including financing, in order to address the problems of loss and damage. And I hope that Pakistan will be able to benefit from these developments. But then Pakistan is also a victim of being a middle-income country. And because it is a middle-income country, Pakistan has not benefited from debt relief at the level that should be necessary for the country. And one of the proposals that I've been making is, for countries like Pakistan, there should be a way to have a swap, exchanging the payment of the debt to investments in the rehabilitation and the recovery and reconstruction from a natural disaster like the one that has occurred. So my appeal to the international financial institutions and to the G20 that will be meeting soon in Bali is to create the conditions for mechanisms of debt relief of middle-income countries impacted by natural disasters the size of the one Pakistan had, in order to allow resources to be devoted to the investments in resilience and in recovery and reconstruction that are necessary. And then it is, again, Pakistan is victim from the fact that, being a middle-income country, Pakistan has no access to concessional funding. There is no reason why middle-income countries that are dramatically impacted by climate change have no reason for them not to have access to concessional funding. And I believe that in the context of the Bretton Woods system, this is something that needs to be reviewed, and I hope the G20 will also be able, in this regard, to promote the necessary reforms, because it depends on decisions of the boards, and those countries that will gather in the G20 have the majority of the boards of the IMF and the World Bank, and also in relation to many other regional international development banks and other financial institutions. So let's be clear. Pakistan deserves massive support directly from the international community. Pakistan deserves loss and damage to be considered as a reality and to be followed, that recognition, by the financial mechanisms that I hope this conference will be able to decide. And finally, it is important to review the way the international financial system works in order for Pakistan to have access to effective debt relief and to have access to the concessional funding that is necessary for the levels of reconstruction and rehabilitation that are huge, taking into account the devastating impact of the floods. And the UN will be side by side with Pakistan. And I want to once again express our total solidarity with the people, the government of Pakistan, and a strong appeal for the international community to be able to correspond to the generosity that Pakistanis have always shown. Thank you very much.
Pakistan deserves